Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular council meeting for the City of Dauphin for August 8th, 2022. Before we get started, we acknowledge that the land on which we gather is Treaty 2 land, traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Assiniboine, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and homeland of the Métis Nation. And we affirm our commitment to moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that the regular council meeting agenda be amended as follows. Just one addition, that's item 7B, the funding announcement for the wastewater expansion project for the City of Dauphin's Lagoon. Exciting announcement today. And any questions or comments there? Seeing none, I'll call those. All in favor? Motion carried. And moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts the regular council meeting agenda as amended. Call the questions. All in favor? And motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Deputy Mayor Skylo. Be it resolved that Council waives the reading and accepts and approves as circulated the minutes of the following meeting, that meeting of July 11th this year. Any questions or comments regarding those minutes? We'll call those. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Whereas the Municipal Act, Section 162 states each member of the council must attend the public hearing unless the member A is excused by the other members from attending the hearing, B is unable to attend owing to illness, or C is required under the Municipal Council Conflict of Interest Act to withdraw from the hearing. Be it resolved that Council excuses the following council member from the June 13th, 2022 public hearing scheduled. That is Rodney Juba. That should be August 8th, right? Yeah, okay, so just go back and amend that to August 8th, excusing Councillor Rodney Juba. Any comments there, questions? Seeing none, I'll call those. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council now adjourns to hear the public hearing as scheduled. I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Council will now commence to hear representations from the applicant and any other persons who wish to make a presentation for the scheduled public hearing under the Planning Act. Anyone who has not yet registered but wishes to make a presentation for the public hearings, please state your name so that we can add you to our registration list. This is item 4A, number 1, rezoning application for 318 Buchanan Avenue West, and registered Credence Capital Incorporated, care of Jerry Wheeler, owner and applicant. So welcome, Jerry. We will now proceed with the public hearing for rezoning application 12.08.362100/RZ-22-01/02 for owner and applicant Jerry Wheeler for lots 1 and 2. Plan 2412 DLTO, again 318 Buchanan Avenue West, from a residential single family to residential multiple family to allow for construction conversion of an existing dwelling to accommodate 3 dwelling units on a single zoning site to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw. Would the applicant like to speak in favor of the application?
Sure. Yeah, it's just we'd like to move forward with converting into a triplex. I guess it seems like me and my buddy have been buying up and down most of Buchanan there, and our goal is to kind of beautify that street kind of one house at a time, and hopefully we'll get to the end soon and pick a different street. So, but yeah, so we've been good with the neighbors so far, and yeah, we're looking forward to move forward to make that into a triplex if possible. So
perfect. Does council have any questions of the applicant? Councillor Bellemare.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand the square footage and where the 3 units would be. So can you explain how they fit in the house, if you have to do an addition, how that's going to work?
Sure. It's a very, very, very unique house. So it was actually an existing 1936 house, and then they added a 1982 house to it. So it's 800 square feet on the 1982 house, and it's basically a bi-level. So it's only got a half basement, and so it's got really great windows for the basement that actually meet egress for, for doing for bedrooms and that kind of thing. So then we would have a 800 square foot unit in the basement. We'd have an 800 square foot upstairs, and then actually the existing, the 1936 house is the property that has all the services. So the existing sewer and water line was channeled from that house to feed the other house, and so we can't remove that house, otherwise the services are gone. So that house was kind of independent always anyways, and that one's going to be probably about a little 400 or 500 square foot house. So it'll be a 1-bedroom in the front, and then a 2-bedroom upstairs and a 2-bedroom downstairs.
Interesting. Okay. Any other questions from council?
Well, when you were saying 1936 house, I was just thinking about basement windows, because of course the windows were much smaller, but you answered that question with the bi-level design. So
yeah, it's something. And that house actually comes with a really interesting story. It was and it sounds like there was a frustration 40 years ago with City or something like that, where they had where it was, I guess, not working together with City to actually, and so and that's why I think the original plan was that the front house was going to get torn down, and then it was too close to the highway though, and so they had to pull it back, and there wasn't concessions made. And the story we heard a little bit was that the person was so frustrated with the city that he says, "I'm never going to side my house, and it's going to be the ugly house." And so he never sided his house, and it was just because. Yeah, it was, and that was unfortunate. Like, just even not coming to an agreement or something, and not being able to work things out, and just having that hard feelings. And so he chose to live in his dream house that was partly finished for 40 years instead of, finding a way to resolve it. And so that's where I see it as a nice way to just bring closure. We're going to make it pretty. We're going to side it and put new windows, and hopefully do everything.
Go ahead, Councillor Eiler.
I just was going to say it's been an eyesore for a long, long time. I hate to say it, but I think it might have been one of my relatives, distant relatives. But really mindset that wasn't going to do anything to improve it, and just felt that it was, I just heard that through the grapevine in the family that, just had resorted to not cooperating with anybody, including family members.
Yeah.
Deputy Mayor Stakilo, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. More of just a comment as opposed to a question for Mr. Wheeler. Just again, just want to commend you and your business partners on moving through the community and beautifying the locations by adding these residential properties, which are greatly needed in our community. So really, it's just thanks for what you're doing. And this is an example of taking an existing structure and basically making it more functional and beautifying the area through what's existing there. So commend you on that, and thank you as well.
Thank you.
Yes, agree. Great insight as well. All right. Well, the representations for the public hearing are now completed. So, as always, the invitation is open to stick around, Jerry. But if not, you're free to go.
Yeah, I think I'll go this time.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask, what are your plans for reforestation and doing, in that area?
Yeah. For that site specifically, we're going to leave all the trees that are there. It's something we can work with the parking. It actually has a beautiful garden that we're going to leave there as well. It's something that we're hoping to attract, hopefully, seniors that would love that kind of a garden and that landscape. We did lots of the pruning of the trees already just to kind of make sure that it wasn't on the sidewalk and just to make it prettier. But it's that site for specifically already has lots of old growth. It's a beautiful, well sheltered yard. And eventually when we work on that Buchanan 518 where that old Williams building is, then that one we'll see how the new trees work in there. But we're hoping to keep all the existing old trees in there as well. So
yeah, because that really adds to the site. So thank you for doing that. I know you have to work around that. And I mean, pruning the trees will make the trees healthier too, because they did look kind of scraggy. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And again, anyone from council is welcome to look at my ash build. That's that new tin build that I kind of did. So we're up to drywall and painting stage right now. And so we're hoping we've got someone that's going to be moving in September 1st in that one. So that's been exciting. And we've got a couple other projects that we're hopefully that's going to spin off of that. The other thing, just real quick, I know the lots of rentals got some bad press with some people doing some apartments. Renovations and increasing the rents, and just want to let Dauphin's going to have a couple years of pain because of that. Like it's just because the rent increase is going to, but it's actually going to help Dauphin in the long run. Right now, our rents were below standard, and so right now, Manitoba Housing requires us to have $720 is the maximum that we can charge for a 2-bedroom house, not including utilities. So it's going to help actually make more development affordable down the road, but it's going to take a little while to get through the system. So I know some of the mayor candidates are using it, and there's lots of chatter in the streets about it, and it's the people impacted are going to be hurt, but it's actually going to be a good thing for Dauphin in the long run, just to bring our rents to where they need to be so that more developers will come to town and hopefully do some more building. So
Great. Thank
It's just a displacement of so many people right now. It's a heartbreak to hear some of the stories. So that's the crunch here. And you know, what do they do meanwhile in the 2 or 3 years before we get up to where we have all the low housing available? You know.
Yeah.
Councillor Belmer.
Yeah, I did drive by your ash location, and the concept is really cool, but are there other shapes that are available? Because it seemed to be, you know, the focus was sideways rather than to the street.
Yeah, absolutely. And partly we did that. It was a free lot that I had bought earlier, like it was included with another property. And so I made that building fit the lot that I had. And then the other thing was I purposely did that because I wanted that one to be for solar. And so my whole roof line is, the orientation is all to the south. So it's, if it was a house for resale, I probably wouldn't have done that way. But because it was a house for rental, it's, it made it, the economics were good for it. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you again, Jerry, and we'll, I'm sure, talk to you soon. Have a good night. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that council now reconvenes to the regular council meeting. I'll call the questions there. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that the public hearing for rezoning application 12.08.3621100/RZ-22-01/02 for owner and applicant Credence Capital, care of Jerry Wheeler, for the rezoning of lots 1 and 2, Plan 2412 DLTO 318 Buchanan Avenue West, from a residential single family to a residential multiple family, to allow for construction conversion of an existing dwelling to accommodate 3 dwelling units on a single zoning site to comply with the City of Dauphin's zoning bylaw, be now concluded. And no questions or comments, I assume, so I'll call those. All in favor? And motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas due notice was given with respect to rezoning application 12.08.36210/RZ-22-01/02, and whereas no objections were received to said application, so be it resolved that the rezoning application for owner and applicant Credence Capital Incorporated, care of Jerry Wheeler, for the rezoning of lots 1 and 2, Plan 2412 DLTO, that is again 318 Buchanan Avenue West, from residential single family to residential multiple family to allow for construction conversion of an existing dwelling to accommodate 3 dwelling units on a single zoning site to comply with the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw be approved with the following conditions. Number 1, the applicant will submit an up-to-date legal surveyor's building location certificate. Number 2, the applicant obtains a variance approval to permit a reduced the front of the yard for a multiple family zone to comply with the bulk requirements of the City of Dauphin zoning bylaw 2015. Number 3, a building permit will be required from the City of Dauphin for the conversion of the existing single-family dwelling to multiple-family dwelling, and all construction shall conform to the Manitoba Building Code. Number 4, the applicant will submit design drawings by an architect, engineer, or other qualified person in order to determine the suitability of the building or the building use, and occupy to address the building fire, life safety, and suite separation requirements of the building code. Number 5, the additional dwelling units may require new separate service branch connections from the street lines to the building. The owner will be responsible for the cost of the services. Number 6, the owner is responsible for the cost of any new approach or relocation of existing approach, including maintenance. Number 7, a minimum of 5 off-street parking stalls will be required to be developed on site. Number 8, primary access using a lane is permitted. However, no extra lane maintenance or snow clearing is provided other than what is provided as part of the normal operational policies of the City of Dauphin. And number 9, lot surface drainage cannot adversely affect the adjacent property. It is recommended that it be done in consultation and cooperation with adjacent property owners. Any questions or comments regarding all those conditions? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that all items listed under item 5 consent agenda be approved as follows and form part of these minutes. There is one proclamation, and it is for Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas prostate cancer is the most common cancer among Canadian men, and whereas 1 in 9 Canadian men will be diagnosed with the disease in his lifetime, and whereas every day in Canada, 63 men are diagnosed with prostate cancer and 11 die from the disease, and whereas the survival rate for prostate cancer can be close to 100% when detected early, but if detected late, 3 out of 4 men will die. And whereas those with a family history of the disease or those of African or Caribbean descent are at a greater risk of developing prostate cancer. And whereas the City of Dauphin supports Prostate Cancer Canada and all individuals committed to raising awareness about prostate cancer. So now, therefore, we, the City of Dauphin, do hereby proclaim September 2022 as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Let's move on to filing items under B. Number 1, Association of Manitoba Municipalities in Memoriam for 2022. Their bulletins for July 15th and the 29th. Member advisories, immigration public meetings for August of 2022, an update on DFA deadline for municipalities, community safety officer program, and updating accessibility plans for 2022 and 2023. Number 2, the Federation of Canadian Municipalities FCM Connects for July 19th, August 3rd, and August 4th. Number 3, Government of Manitoba news releases, Education and Early Childhood Learning, the Teachers Idea Fund, the Premier's announcement, the new $100 million Arts, Culture, and Sports in Community Fund, and Health, under Health, Retinal Specialist Pilot Project for the City of Dauphin. Number 4, Manitoba Emergency Management Quarterly Report for July of 2022. Number 5, Manitoba Transportation and Infrastructure Disaster Financial Assistance. Number 6, Manitoba Blue Cross, the Color of Caring Healthy Community Challenge. Number 7, Canadian National Railway Extreme Weather Fire Risk Mitigation Plan. And number 8, Prairie Mountain Health's Health Plus newsletter for the summer of this year. And that is all recommended by the Mayor and the City Manager. Any questions or comments regarding all of those items? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stikilo, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for the August 8th, 2022 regular council meeting, that of the city manager. Take it away, city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's been just about a month, I guess 4 weeks since our last council meeting. And as I mentioned at the end of June and into July, July and August is a slower time in terms of meetings, and my meeting schedule reflects that. As for updates, first one's about development. So along with other staff, we met with 2 different developers in the last month. One was exploring a commercial development, and the second developer is working on a multifamily residential project. I also had a conversation with a third developer whose plans have changed, so they're no longer able to construct some residential units that they had planned to. So we talked about how to sell the property and how to perhaps sell also the plans that were originally scheduled for that property, since all of the work's been done with the city regarding rezoning and variances and whatnot. So I do see that within about 48 hours, that property went up for sale with the local real estate agent, and they're working on getting that sold. Second thing is an update regarding some discussion we had with the Citizens Climate Lobby I guess that was in July. Councillor Bellemere and I met with Virginia Kale and Richard Baschuk, both members of the Citizens Climate Lobby Canada Parkland chapter, and that was regarding some initiatives the City of Dauphin's working on that supports a greener future. Ms. Kale then used the information to create a newspaper article, and that article was posted in the Dauphin Herald or the Parkland Shopper. I can't remember which one. I have included a copy of the article at the end of my report. I have to say that it was a really good conversation, and at the end, they were again pleased of all of the things that we're doing, and I think specifically just being conscious of climate change, climate adaptation, things like that. The next one is with the Municipal Emergency Coordinator position. So the City of Dauphin and the arm of Dauphin share an emergency plan and also share a Municipal Emergency Coordinator position. And that position is a contract position. Up until mid-July, Mr. Randy Daly held that position. And so, as I said, it's a contract position, so he's not an employee of either the RM or the city. Mr. Daly, though, had an office space in City Hall, but worked for both municipalities and spent time at the RM's of Dauphin's office as well. Mr. Daly has registered as a candidate for council, for councillor with the City of Dauphin in our next election, which is the fall of this year. And as per the Municipal Act, employees must be granted a leave of absence to run for a municipal election. So technically, Mr. Daly did not need to take a leave of absence because he was a contract person working in our building. However, because of the access that he has to the facilities and the resources, he and I met and discussed it and decided that a leave of absence was in everyone's best interest. So he does, however, remain the Municipal Emergency Coordinator for the RM of Dauphin. Once we know the results of the election, we will decide how to proceed with the position. The options are to reinstate Mr. Daly if he's unsuccessful in his campaign, or search for a new municipal emergency coordinator if he is successful. In the interim, I've assumed some of the time-sensitive and emergency contact roles of the Municipal Emergency Coordinator, and so far I have received updates from the province on flooding and fires within Manitoba, and then just this morning I did get another update from the province regarding some of their hot weather that we're going to be getting this week. Speaking of the election, we held our potential candidate information session on July 14th here at City Hall. Unfortunately, our guest speaker, Joe Massey, was unable to physically be here, but he did attend via Microsoft Teams. We had approximately 20 people in attendance, and the session was recorded, and we're working on getting it posted to our website for others to view. I received several questions regarding Bylaw 02-2022, and that's a bylaw to establish rules and procedures for the use of municipal resources during the 42-day period before a general election or by-election. And I was able to speak to a municipal services officer to get an interpretation of the intent of the bylaw, and specifically clarified that a staff member is not a municipal resource outside of their working hours. Small update regarding the addition to reserve process that we're going through with Pine Creek and Ebb and Flow First Nations. We are, and that's regarding some development of land on Main Street South. We've exchanged lawyer information and got word from the First Nations that they're reviewing the Municipal Development and Services Agreement. Last meeting that we had with them was approximately middle of April. And lastly, congratulations to the organizers and volunteers. The last week of July, there were so many exciting things that were going on in our community, and all things that we have not been able to do or host for the last couple of years. So congratulations to Communities in Bloom Committee and Councillor Eilers and Mayor Laughlin for the committee showcasing our community to the judges. And it was great to see some posts on social media regarding the judges and the lunches and some of the things that they saw. So that was great. Dauphin's competing in an international category this year. Congratulations to the Parkland Chamber of Commerce, Gabe Mercier as president and Stephen Chakota as executive director, as well as the board for a street fair held on July 29th. There was some great feedback regarding the different venue this year, it being close to CN Park as opposed to Main Street. Congratulations to Canada's National Ukrainian Festival, Kayla Gillis as president, Megan Patura as chief administrative officer, and the board on the 2022 edition of the Ukrainian Festival. I was able to attend for one day, and it was so great to see this event happening. The sights and the sounds, and oh my gosh, the smells were amazing. I was smelling dill and cream and onions for hours. There was also Northgate Classic, a bike rally or bike race held at Northgate Trails on August 7th. So congratulations to all the volunteers for making these events and others like it happen in our community. It's wonderful to see our sense of community again. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions or comments regarding the city manager's report? Seeing none, I'll call those. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stakilo. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the following corporate report for the meeting tonight for the ICT manager. Any questions or comments regarding that report? Call those. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that the finance accounts have been examined by Council and be hereby authorized and approved as follows. Check totals ranging from check number 29964 to 30122. That's 159 checks totaling $5,552,084.26. No voided checks in the current range, no voided checks in past ranges. There were a handful of electronic payments, though, for the months of June and July. In June, 7 payments totaling $187,346.65. And in July, 5 payments, $189,757.98. Any questions regarding those numbers? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the unaudited financial statements before PSAB adjustments for the period ending May 31st of this year, including number 1, the general fund balance sheet and general fund income statement, and number 2, the utility fund balance sheet and utility fund income statement. Any questions there? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stakilo. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the reserve report for May of this year. Any questions regarding that? Seeing none, I'll call those. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. And be it resolved that Council accepts as information the 2022 tax collection report. Any questions on that? Councillor Bellemare.
Not a question, just a comment. Yeah. So it's good to see that the pattern that we had before COVID has resumed, that people are paying their taxes and things are moving ahead and the city has money to do what they need to do. So good to see.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stakilo. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following engineering staff reports for this evening's regular council meeting. That of the building inspector for the months of June and July. Any questions regarding those reports? Councillor Bellemare?
Well, just nice to see Vermilion Growers moving forward.
Yes,
That was in
yes.
there and big chunk of money there, and it's good to see that project, that whole project moving forward.
Yeah, and it looks like very quickly too, which is great. We'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the following protective services report for this evening's regular council meeting. That of bylaw enforcement for July. Any questions or comments there? Councillor Eilers, go ahead.
Yes, I saw that there was a lot of notices, enforcement notices, but there was only 6 that they seem to have to send to cut the grass. I was just going to say down Main Street, I think there was a lot of work that was done by maybe the individuals, but also by the DRS, because it really looked really well manicured and nice in comparison to, there's been some really corners that had grass that was knee high and stuff. So it was nice that they did that. And I was going to say that parking, there was no issues or anything addressed in that respect. We've had nothing.
So I can address that, and I think that's primarily, I did have a discussion with the bylaw enforcement officer about trying to focus his attention more fully on parking going forward, but during this period of July 2022, he was acting as the building inspector for 3 weeks out of that month, and then for the other week he was on vacation. So despite acting in the building inspector role and then being on vacation, he still managed to squeeze in several hundred enforcement notices and dealt with many complaints and inquiries. So parking was not something that he was able to really focus on in July.
Any other questions or comments? Call those. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the minutes and report from the following committees. Number 1, the Dauphin and District Allied Arts Council, their regular board meetings for May 3rd and May 31st. Number 2, the Fort Dauphin Museum's regular board meeting on June 1st. The manager's report on July 6th. The profit and loss budget versus actual January 1st to July 6th of this year. And the balance sheet previous year comparison as of July 6th. Number 3, Communities in Bloom's regular board meeting for June 23rd. And Riverside Cemetery is number 4, their regular board meeting for July 6th. Any questions or comments regarding those minutes? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council accepts information, the news release dated August 2nd, 2022 from the Association of Manitoba Municipalities reporting on the results of a survey of their membership they commissioned regarding public safety issues. Further, be it resolved that the survey, which the City of Dauphin did participate in, indicates that public safety and crime prevention are top priorities for the majority of municipalities. Further, be it resolved that council agrees that public safety and crime prevention are top priorities for the City of Dauphin and are looking forward to working with the AMM on the action items identified in their survey, as well as with Manitoba Justice in creating a community safety and well-being program in Dauphin. Any questions or comments there? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that council accepts as information the news release dated August 8th of this year regarding the funding announcement for the wastewater expansion project for the City of Dauphin's Lagoon. Some great news earlier today. Anyone want to make any comments regarding that or have any questions? Go ahead, Councillor Eilers.
I just had one comment, finally. It's been a long time, and Just so that everybody's aware, there was new regulations put in, but there was never any funding to make this a reality. And so we've always gotten special license, and it's a real process to continue operating in this respect. And so it was good to hear that this is going to finally become a reality, and it's going to make life a lot easier for everyone involved, and it'll help in any kind of new development that we can, of course, accommodate. So yeah, great news.
100%. Deputy Mayor Stakilo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to second what Councillor Eiler said. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be at the announcement today, but just great news. And it's something that we've been waiting for, and I'm very happy to. I was very happy to hear that news, and just excited for the future. Thanks.
Indeed. Councillor Bellemare.
Well, I'm just thinking it's a good thing all these people have signed up to run for council, because they may watch us and hear us being excited about a lagoon and go, what am I getting ourselves into in municipal politics? Like, really? That's what get you guys excited? Yeah. But yes, I agree with everything that's been said.
Yeah, great stuff. Okay, we'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stakilo. Be it resolved that Council approves Policy 1.3, policy governing internal and external committees, council, and citizen representation, terms of reference, and information pages. Any comments there? Councillor Bellemare.
It's a long document, and thank you for the table of contents. It's great.
I do. Yes, it was a very long journey, but again, thank you very much. Any other questions, comments? Okay, we'll call those. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council approves the revised travel and expense policy 2.3.3. Any questions or comments regarding that? Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stakilo. Whereas the City of Dauphin's contracted 911 service provider, the City of Brandon, will be transitioning to Bell Canada's fully digital next generation 911 network, which will allow more data to be provided to dispatchers and first responders to assist in saving lives. And whereas the Brandon 911 Center requires all municipalities that it services to sign an agreement supporting their move onto this new digital network. And be it resolved that Council accepts this information, a next generation 911 authority service agreement from Bell Canada, and a memorandum dated August 8th of this year from the Information and Communications Technology Manager, noting that these networks are already paid for by citizens in the municipality on their wireless or landline bill, and recommending that this agreement be approved so that we can continue to provide the most effective 911 service to our citizens. And further, be it resolved that Council agrees with the ICT manager's recommendation and authorizes the next generation 911 authority service agreement to be signed and sealed by the city manager on behalf of the City of Dauphin. Any questions or comments there? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Eiler, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas the City of Dauphin public water system is subjected to an annual audit to ensure compliance with the Drinking Water Safety Act and the system's current operating license. And whereas the Provincial Department of Environment, Climate and Park Office of Drinking Water, in their letter dated July 18th, 2022, indicated the city was compliant with the Drinking Water Safety Act and the terms and conditions of operating license PWS 08-117-03. And be it resolved that Council accepts this information, the 2022 annual compliance audit for the City of Dauphin public water system from Manitoba Environment, Climate and Parks Office of Drinking Water, dated July 18th, 2022. Any questions or comments there? Call those. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stakilo. Be it resolved that council accepts as information a memorandum dated August 5th, 2022 from the city manager regarding a program offered by Manitoba Municipal Relations called the Municipal Service Delivery Improvement Program, which provides funding for municipalities to find ways to improve services and find efficiencies, and recommending that the City of Dauphin applies to the program for the Dauphin Fire Department, which services the city as well as the rural municipality of Dauphin, to undergo this value for money review with the intention of evaluating effectiveness, efficiency, and economy of dollars spent. Further, be it resolved that council agrees with the city manager's recommendation and authorizes the City of Dauphin to apply to the MSDIP to review the Dauphin Fire Department. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Whereas the City of Dauphin's approved 2022 financial plan indicates the requirement to purchase a new loader in 2022, and whereas the City of Dauphin released a request for proposals for the purchase of a new rubber-tired wheeled loader to replace the existing Case 621E loader, which closed on July 15th. Be it resolved that council accepts as information a memorandum dated August 3rd of this year from the Director of Public Works and Operations advising that in response to the request for proposals to replace an existing loader that is near the end of its existing life, 8 suppliers provided proposals for 9 different loaders, ranging in price from $239,478 to $298,500, with delivery dates varying from October 2022 to June of next year, and recommending that the RFP be awarded to High Track for the purchase of a Case 621G rubber tire wheeled loader for a price of $260,520 plus applicable taxes. Further, be it resolved that council agrees with the recommendation from the Director of Public Works and Operations and authorizes the RFP for the purchase of the above noted wheeled loader to be awarded to High Track for a cost of $260,520 plus applicable taxes, with the funds to be drawn from the Machinery and Equipment Reserve. Any questions or comments? Councillor Eilers.
I just want to thank you and Mike and your committee for all the work that you did in trying to find what was most valuable to our city. And I agree with your comments. Sometimes you take or get equipment that lasts a lot longer and has low maintenance or little maintenance and lasts a lot longer. So thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Councillor Bellemare.
Yeah, I agree with everything Councillor Eilers said, because it was a really good report, and even you mentioned the spare parts too and the availability. So just appreciate all the detail you gave in explaining to us what led to this decision. So thank you for that.
Indeed. Any other questions or comments? We'll call those. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stakilo. Whereas the City of Dauphin has secured 2 grants for window upgrades at the Watson Arts Centre, and the upgrades were included in the 2022 financial plan as a capital project. Number 1, Building Sustainable Communities Grant, up to $50,000 matching. And number 2, Heritage Resources Conservation Grant, up to $25,000 matching dollars. And whereas the City of Dauphin released a request for proposals on July 12th for the supply and installation of windows at the Watson Arts Centre, that closed back on August 3rd. Be it resolved that council accepts as information a memorandum dated August 8th of this year from the Information and Communications Technology Manager, advising that 2 proposals were received for the supply and installation of windows at the Watson Arts Centre, and recommending that the RFP be awarded to Horizon Glass Limited for a total cost not exceeding $160,000 plus applicable taxes. Further be it resolved that council agrees with the ICT manager's recommendation and authorizes the RFP for the window upgrades project at the WAC to be awarded to Horizon Glass Limited for a total cost not exceeding $160,000 plus applicable taxes. Further be it resolved that council authorizes a contract with Horizon Glass Limited for performance of the work outlined above to be signed and sealed by the city manager on behalf of the city of Dauphin. Any questions or comments regarding that project? Councillor Eilers.
It sounds that they did try to find the workmanship of this company they awarded. I was going to ask, is there a warranty in this contract of the glassware, and what is it? What exactly does it cover, and how much?
Yeah, certainly. Good question. I know there is a warranty component. I'd have to look into the exact details if it's 1 or 2 years. But I know that there is a warranty component. I'll get back to all of council with that info.
Yeah, because usually if the windows are not properly installed, if it's 1 year is great, but if it's 2 years, it's even better, because that's when you notice the leakage and anything else that's not appropriate with the window installation. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Call those. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stakilo, whereas bylaw 10/2015, being a bylaw of the city of Dauphin respecting the management and regulation of the water and sewer utility system, requires that in the case of a new or upgraded utility connection, a deposit in the value of the estimate to complete the work be provided prior to the construction of the connection. And whereas via correspondence dated July 11th of this year, Darren Clinton, Executive Director of Parkland Residential and Vocational Services Incorporated, PRVSI as we all know it, requested that utility connections at their residential facilities at 227 8th Avenue Southwest and 1002 1st Street Southwest be upgraded to 2-inch water supply lines to facilitate the installation of sprinkler systems, with payment to be made following completion of the upgrade as per a requirement of Manitoba Department of Families Life Safety Initiative funding they have secured for this project. Be it resolved that council accepts this information, a memorandum dated August 5th, from the city manager, noting that Dan Fingler, acting manager, strategic projects, disability and specialized services, Manitoba Department of Families, has confirmed that PRVSI has been awarded the Life Safety Initiative funding for their residential facility sprinkler upgrade project, and recommending that the city perform the utility upgrades at 227 8th Avenue Southwest and 1002 1st Street Southwest prior to receiving payment. And further be it resolved that council agrees with the city manager's recommendation and authorizes that PRVSI's request for utility upgrades at the above noted locations be fulfilled, with payment to be secured at a later date upon their receipt of grant funding from the Manitoba Department of Families. Any questions or comments there? Seeing none, I'll call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Bellemare, whereas in partnership with Prairies Economic Development Canada, Travel Manitoba has launched the Winter Tourism Development Fund to invest in projects that support Indigenous and inclusive winter tourism development in Manitoba. And be it resolved that council accepts this information, a request dated August 3rd from Stacey Penner for a letter supporting her community group's application to the Winter Tourism Development Fund for the development of Mamawee Park to be constructed on the Dauphin Recreation Service grounds at 2nd Avenue Southwest, obviously. The first community project that is being planned jointly with Treaty 2, the Northwest Métis Council, and the Dauphin Friendship Center, and which features a 4-season accessible toboggan run. And further be it resolved that council commends the Mamawee Park project organizers for their efforts to invest in the mental and physical health of children and families in Dauphin, and approves a letter supporting their application to the Winter Tourism Development Fund to make this initiative and inclusive 4-season park possible. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll call those. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Bellemare, whereas the Manitoba government has committed $100 million over 3 years to create a new arts, culture, and sport in community fund to foster creativity and innovation in local arts, culture, and sports initiatives. And be it resolved that Council accepts as information a request dated August 3rd from Stacey Penner for a letter of supporting her community group's application to the Arts, Culture, and Sport Community Fund for the development of Mamawee Park. Of course, the first community project that is being planned jointly with Treaty 2, the Northwest Métis Council, and the Dauphin Friendship Center, in which features that four-season accessible toboggan run. Further, be it resolved that Council again commends the Mamawee Park project organizers for their efforts to invest in the mental and physical health of children and families in Dauphin, and approves a letter supporting their application to the Arts, Culture, and Sport in Community Fund to make this initiative an inclusive four-season park possible. Again, any questions or comments? Call those. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stakilo. Be it resolved that bylaw 06/2022, being a bylaw to amend City of Dauphin zoning bylaw 04/2015, 318 Buchanan Avenue West, be now read a second time. Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. And moved by Deputy Mayor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that bylaw 06/2022, being a bylaw to amend City of Dauphin zoning bylaw 04/2015, 318 Buchanan Avenue West, be now read a third time and be signed and sealed by the mayor and the city manager. I'll call the questions. All in favor? This one we're writing down. All in favor? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stakilo. Be it resolved that bylaw 07/2022, being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to repeal bylaw 02/2006, authorizing an agreement with the Fort Dauphin Museum Incorporated, be now read a second time. Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that bylaw 07/2022, being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to repeal bylaw 02/2006, authorizing an agreement with Fort Dauphin Museum Incorporated, be now read a third time and be signed and sealed by the mayor and the city manager. And all in favor? Motion carried. Moved by Councillor Bellemare, seconded by Councillor Eilers. Be it resolved that bylaw 08/2022, being a bylaw of the City of Dauphin to govern the organization of the City of Dauphin and the committees thereof, be now read a first time. Any questions? Call those. All in favor? And motion carried. And moved by Deputy Mayor Stakilo, seconded by Councillor Bellemare. Be it resolved that Council accepts as information the invitation and community events listed below. No community events, but 2 invitations. The Manitoba Métis Federation's annual general meeting happening on August 13th. That is this Saturday. And the number 2, remembering the British Commonwealth Air Training Plan, Dauphin Airport Commemorative Service and Memorial Dedication happening August 27th. That is a Saturday as well. And as I mentioned, no community events. Questions or comments regarding those? No, seeing none. Call the questions. All in favor? Motion carried. And we'll move to councillor privileges. And I'll start to my left today. Councillor Eilers, if you're ready.
Thank you. July 11th, I attended regular council meeting, and July 13th, I volunteered at the Tim Hortons Camp Day event. This is a great fundraising event for children to go to camp, and that was a lot of fun. On July the 14th, I participated in the webinar Connecting People and Plants for a Greener and Healthier Urban Climate that's done by the National Communities in Bloom organization. On July 14th, I too attended election candidate info session. Good to see the interest in the municipal elections and all the candidates. On July 18th, I did an interview with CKDM, read the CIB judges coming to our community. On July the 20th, I worked with Justin Tokarczyk, read the video with the drone of the landfill for the CIB judges, and it was much appreciated by the judges. On July the 21st, I attended the barbecue hosted by Westman Communications for Under One Roof. I had a CIB meeting followed by Ag Society meeting. On July the 25th, I attended the strategic planning and priority meeting. On July 27th, I picked up the CIB judges at the Winnipeg Airport, thanks to Fusion Credit Union for providing the hybrid car for our use in transporting the CIB judges, as well as the tour of the city. And of course, on July 28th was our big day with the CIB Judges Evaluation Tour International. And we were asked by invitation by the National CIB to compete worldwide against the small city category. And that included Ingra, Italy, Valenca, Polana, Slovenia, Glassburg, Tiny Towns, Ireland, Lewisburg, West Virginia, and Sussex, New Brunswick. And our judges were Susan Ellis, the National Chairperson of CIB Board of Directors from Pembroke, Ontario, and Alex Pearl from Centralville, Ohio. We started the day with a Ukrainian welcome presentation of bread, wheat, and salt by two youngsters dressed in traditional Ukrainian outfits, Nicholas and Ivana, and a dance was performed by Ivana. And the judges really thought this was wonderful. And thanks to Jan Sersky for baking the bread and organizing this ritual. The judges then met with council and administration, and the tour began at the DRS, Northgate Trails, Salal site, including the Ukrainian Heritage Village, and a drive-by by Mesk and Parkland Crossing and Dauphin Regional Health Center. And lunch was at Fort Dauphin Museum, and we had a surprise. I had a phone call, but I never had a confirmation. And Dan Mazer of MP offered greetings, and that was, his wife attended as well. A variety of organizations and businesses presented on various programs and initiatives that dealt with social, economic, and environmental action. The speakers were Jeremy Smith from the Executive Director of the Dauphin Friendship Center. Jamie Harvey, the Director of the Parkland Crossing, gave an overview of program and various services offered. And Lauren Eifert from the GM of Dauphin Consumers on various incentives, including the Loop program and economic investment into the community. Jim Perchiluk, President of Ukrainian Folk Art Center and Museum, presented info on the Parkland Ukrainian Family Fund to help families fleeing from the war in Ukraine and immigrating to the Parkland. There was a tour of the Fort Dauphin Museum and a driving tour of the Sunshine Garden Club, Sportsplex, Vermilion Park. I'm doing all this so you realize how much we jam-packed into one day. And we continued with the Dauphin Rail Museum, the CN Park, the Watson Art Center, and of course the Dauphin Street Fair. The driving tour was of Main Street, Under One Roof, Dauphin Neighborhood Renewal, Meadowlark Park, the Garden and Yard tour of Sandra and Philip Seminsko and Dave and Patty Corney up on River Avenue. And thank you for sharing. I want to thank them for sharing their amazing yards. And we continued with the tour of Mountain Road, Green Spaces, Dauphin Friendship Center, Skate Park, and Gartmore Park. And the day was finished with the Ukrainian supper at Karina's. And I want to offer a special thanks to the Bloom crew, which was headed by Maddie Montpetit and Paige Cable. Maddie was the supervisor, and the crew was Paige Cable, Ben Talbot, and Mackenzie Ament for their hard work and dedication to our amazing floral displays, and Bursa's Greenhouse for providing the plants and the soil. I also want to thank Wes Carnegie, Operation Manager, and Edward Simpson, the park's lead hand for DRS, for our reforestation efforts and our tree giveaway. And that was assisted by Janelle Thompson and Gabe Mercier, and also Trudy Carrier. The Chip and Soil Day had Marg Wasilishin and Susan Torden and Joanne Cooper organizing the plant sale, and Jim Heshka providing plant ID and photography, and Gabe Mercier and myself shoveling 137 containers of soil. And the preparation and venue for the CIB luncheon again was organized by Teresa DeHoes, Joanne Cooper, and Mark Vasilishin and Susan Torden. And thanks to Jim for the photography, joining the tour and doing the photography for the day. And I want to thank the many thanks to all the community members and businesses for their efforts in making our community shine. And July the 29th, I drove the judges back to Winnipeg and volunteered at the Ukrainian Festival. And the Ukrainian Festival was fantastic. And thank you to the organizers and the volunteers who made this a fun-filled, highlighting the Ukrainian culture and heritage. On July 31st, I attended and presented greetings on behalf of the city at the Trembola Cross of Freedom, along with Rodney. And August 3rd was a community barbecue presented by Dan Mazer, and I finished off the day with meeting with Mike Van Elstein, via request I added to his workload. And it was because we had a special note and an invitation by the CIB judges to send in an application for 2022 Green Cities Award. And I also want to thank all the volunteers that make our community. And it just behooves us to consider Country Fest, the Dauphin Ag Fair, the Canadian National Ukrainian Festival, Christmas at the Fort, Louis Riel Day, Indigenous People Day, the Street Fair. It goes on and on and on, and all these different organizations in our community. And it makes our community. And I attended today the announcement of the upgrades for the Dauphin Lagoon announcement by the Minister for Manitoba Labor, Consumers Protection and Government, Reg Ewert. And it was a long time in coming. And I just want to end my report by saying everyone take care with the hot weather, but please enjoy. And that ends my report.
Thank you very much, Councillor Eilers. Councillor Bellemare.
Thank you. I attended a variety of meetings, the Cemetery Board, RM Liaison Committee, the Dauphin and Area Welcoming Committee. I met the Community in Bloom judges. One of their ideas was perhaps turning our waste disposal site into a green space, and I'm getting my head around that because that's such a out there idea, but it's not to mean that it couldn't happen and could be an interesting addition to what we do. On July, in terms of community events, I attended the Street Fair and the Ukrainian Festival, and I mean, they were fantastic. Lots of people there, lots of vendors, lots of music, lots of food, and people were having a great time. A reminder that the Parkland Family Fund is still accepting financial contributions. That was announced at the Ukrainian Festival. With winter coming, there are a new set of needs that will be needed for our families that will be facing their first winter in Canada. And I'd also like to give a big thank you to the local Ukrainian dance group Sharaz for their tribute to our new Ukrainian families on Friday night at the festival. So Danny and Patty Zabiaka had choreographed this dance about 4 years ago. And I mean, it was meaningful in terms of history, what was going on around the turn of the century. But with the world events being what they are, this dance just had a whole new meaning. And after it was finished and the Ukrainian immigrants were welcomed in the dance, all the new families in the audience were asked to stand up, and the dance was dedicated to them. So there were a lot of teary eyes in the crowd, so a very meaningful part of the festival. On August 2nd, I attended a Toboggan committee meeting, and a request for proposals had been sent out, and no construction companies have applied at this time. So this project will be retendered this fall, and hopefully will be completed in the summer of 2023. With all the flooding that has been occurring around the province this year, it seems that construction companies are already very busy with all sorts of projects to repair the damage caused by flooding, and they have not been able to apply for this project. I would like to, the Northgate Classic was mentioned yesterday. I ended up talking to someone who had participated in that bike race. It's neat to see that these athletic events are resurfacing. This person was really excited that that event happened. So yes, lots of excitement in our community. I'd like to conclude by just highlighting that report that the city got from the Office of the Drinking Water, which is run by the province of Manitoba, and the processes used to produce drinking water for our community are very stringent, and this report was a great report. It's very welcome, but it really wasn't a surprise because we have employees who've taken all kinds of training courses, and they've proven that they're very committed to producing safe drinking water to our residents. So I want to say a big thank you to them and conclude my report on that note. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Stakalo.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For myself, July 11th council meeting, and July 27th had a Dauphin neighborhood renewal meeting. I just want to start out just some of the community events that I attended. Before I do that, just want to say thanks to Councillor Eilers for all the hard work with the CNIB, and I mean it's just in listening to her report. I mean it's just it goes on and on and on, and there's a lot that goes into it. So just thank you for that, and thank you to staff and administration and the Communities in Bloom's crew. It's just it's wonderful to see, and you know it's such an asset for our community for sure. I attended the street fair on the 28th, and congratulations to the Chamber of Commerce and all their volunteers and everybody that made that happen this year. Loved the location. I think it really highlighted CN Park, and I think hopefully it opened some eyes in the community that you know that park's there and it can be utilized for other sorts of events and for gatherings, and just really highlighted that area that we really love in the city. I was able to attend the parade on the 30th with my fellow councillors. And also later that day took in the Ukrainian Festival, which again it was so nice to be back. Excellent event, well run, great entertainment. You know, I had my kids there. I had some other family members there. Some Ukrainian families there were with us, and it was just great. It was a great family atmosphere. Lots to see, lots to do, and even a little bit of rain on Saturday night didn't stop the party. So it was great, great for that. I do want to just acknowledge that the Northgate Classic that was held yesterday, as Councillor Bellemare had mentioned, the report I got was it was a fantastic event, very professionally run and well attended, and it's nice to see that you know an event of that magnitude, of that scale is taking place, and the future looks really bright for hosting future events there, and it's just fantastic to see because it's so important to our community and to our area as well. So I think with that ends my report. So thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Stakalo. For myself, July 11th, I attended the regular council meeting here at City Hall. The next day, the 12th, met with a local retailer regarding a few items. The day after that, the 13th, the Dauphin Recreation Services meeting. The ice is back in now at Credit Union Place, so there's lots going on there. And then the RM liaison meeting later in the day. I actually want to go back to Dauphin Rec Services. If you haven't yet given it a try, be sure to go out to Vermilion Park and enjoy 18 holes of the disc golf. Parkland Source for Sports has all the supplies. I've been hearing lots of great things. Disc golf, it's a big sport down in the U.S. and it's getting there up here as well. So great to see. On the 21st of July, I attended the Communities in Bloom meeting here at City Hall. The 25th, Strategic Planning and Priorities meeting. The 28th, met with the CIB judges in the morning as they toured the city and the area. I do want to say thank you to the Bloom crew, the CIB committee, and DRS staff for all their hard work. And I'd also like to single out Councillor Eilers for all the hard work that she puts into the day and into Communities in Bloom in general. She definitely puts in a lot of volunteer hours, and it does sound like the judges had a really great time. So thank you very much again Councillor Eilers. Also on the 28th, the street fair was happening, which was really cool to have that going on with the Communities in Bloom judges in town. Throughout the day, I attended the street fair hosted by the Parkland Chamber. Just a great event overall. We've talked about it now. Thanks again to all involved. I volunteered at the beer gardens in the evening, and the crowd didn't seem to really dissipate until the night was over. So again, a fantastic event. Speaking of fantastic events, July 29th and the 30th, I attended Canada's National Ukrainian Festival by myself and with my family. It was weird because we brought our son, who's 2 years old, who can't sit still, and we sat in the grandstands, and for some reason he decided to sit still for some shows. So that was pretty cool. So now we know how to make him sit still. Just put on Ukrainian music, I guess. So that was really great. But again, sounds like the crowds were some of the best in many years. So again, congratulations to the CNUF board and everyone involved there. Great to see that festival back, much like Country Fest and everything else this year. And finally, August 8th, earlier today, attended that big announcement earlier at City Hall for the Lagoon Funding. Again, very exciting news for our community, and just a quick thank you to Councillor Eilers, Councillor Bellemare, who were there, MLA Brad Mikuleski, and Minister Reg Helwer for attending as well. And that ends my report. And with that being said, moved by Councillor Eilers, seconded by Councillor Bellemare, be it resolved that this council meeting be recessed at 6:13. Thanks, everyone, and have a great night.